everybody. Welcome to Did You Know? This is Andy Stumpf. Andy Stumpf is a former Navy SEAL, and there are lots of former Navy SEALs. It's easy to understand when there's over 2,400 Navy SEALs deployed at any given time. They make up less than 1% of the entire population of the U.S. Navy. That's how elite a Navy SEAL is. Now, I've heard many Navy SEALs talk over the course of time. I've been in workshops, I've read their books. Some of them are really good, some of them aren't. It's a different skill set than what they were trained in. The ability to be able to apply those kinds of things into a general world perspective. But Andy's a little different. Now, when Andy was 11 years old, the only thing he ever dreamed about was being a Navy SEAL. He enlisted at 17, made it through basic training, made it through Bud SEALs training, won his Trident, made it through Hell Week, assigned to various SEAL squadrons. His skill set brought him to the elite SEAL Team 6. He did hundreds of deployments, hundreds of combat missions, wounded in action. Came back and during his rehab became the teacher of the teachers of the Navy SEALs and worked through a number of training elements and training cycles for the SEALs. His medals would take me the entire video just to list, but I should tell you this, he has 5 bronze stars. So when Andy, who's now on the speaking tour, who runs an unbelievably successful consulting business, he's a smart business guy. He does thousands of hours worth of work supporting military charities. But the thing I want to talk about was a story Andy told. And it was about Hell Week when he was an instructor. Now, Hell Week is the culmination of SEALs training. It starts on a Sunday, ends on a Friday. You average about 4 hours of sleep through that entire time, where you are put under intense physical, intense psychological situations and expected to perform as though you would experience those in combat situations. It's legendary Hell Week. And he would see Navy SEALs who had made it all the way through there until Hell Week ring out, quit on a Tuesday of Hell Week. And it perplexed him. And so as an instructor, he had an opportunity to talk to him. And he'd ask him, he said, "What are you doing? You've worked all this time and now you're ringing out?" And the answer was almost universal. It was, "I can't imagine getting through a couple more days of this." Now, to compare that and really to contrast it, Andy talked to those who made it through Hell Week. And he said, "What was your perspective?" And their perspective was, "I knew you had to feed us every 6 hours. I knew that a cycle wouldn't last that long. So for me, at the end of this intense cycle, I viewed it just as the next 6 hours and the next 6 hours and the next 6 hours." And that perspective, what is called a bits and pieces perspective, allowed those SEALs to make it through Hell Week and earn their Trident. So what I learned from this was people look at things in huge pieces as goals being gigantic, when the reality is, if you have a bits and pieces philosophy and attack these larger scale problems and larger scale issues in increments, the ability to complete that, well, your ability raises considerably. So now during the COVID virus, where you're trapped at home and you're looking at 8 hours worth of work days and trying to figure out how to get things done, maybe Andy's got the answer, the right perspective, to take a look at dividing your days into small bits and pieces and fill those bits and pieces with success. That'd be a good idea. Andy always thought that was the defining element that allowed the psychological barrier to be broken during Hell Week. It's a good lesson. Thanks, Andy, for that and all that you do.